हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमम्
नरं चैव नरोत्तमम्
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये।
ततो जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके
भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी।
भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी।
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
देवकी नंदनाय च
देवकी नंदनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
गोविन्दाय नमो
नमो
नमः।
पंकजनाभाय
नमो पंकजनाभाय
नमो पंकजमालिने
नमो पंकजमालिने
नमो पंकजनेत्राय
नमो पंकजनेत्राय
नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये।
नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये।
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा
कृष्णा हरे हरे
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा
कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे।
राम राम हरे हरे।
श्री श्री राधा श्री हरि भगवान की
जय।
ललिता सखी विशाखा माता की
जय।
गिरिराज गोवर्धन महाराज की
जय।
सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की
जय।
गौरांग निताय महाप्रभु की
जय।
युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की
जय।
शील प्रभुपाद की
जय।
His Holiness गोपाल कृष्ण महाराज की
जय।
संवेत भागवयवन भक्त वृंद ई भक्त वृंद की
जय।
हरि हरि बोल।
हरि हरि बोल।
So we welcome all fortunate souls who are sitting over here, and during this hard time of COVID, we are engaging ourselves in the most important activity in this entire universe, that is Shravanam and Kirtanam. You know, in Bhagavatam, it is said, Save punsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. What is that which can satisfy the soul? You know, which can give satisfaction, not to the body, but to the soul. Save punsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshje. Unless and until we do not perform unalloyed, undeviated devotional service to the Lord, our heart, we will from inside will never get any satisfaction. Mame vansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. We are part and parcel of Lord. And so the constitutional position is to love and serve the Lord. So in that series, Janmashtami is coming, it's just few days. So why we are taking, during the Janmashtami, we take all the pastimes, beautiful pastimes of the Lord. Why we take all these things? What is the reason behind to listing all these things? Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvata tyaktva deham punarajanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Janma karma chame divyam. My janma and my karma, my activities are divyam, are divine. Evam yo veti tattvata. We should know the tattva, why the Lord takes janma, why the Lord does all these types of karma. And then, if we understand that tattva properly, then, janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvata tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti su Arjuna. Then you are sure that you will not get another birth in the womb of mother, where we will be going upside down and hanging in the mother's womb, in that womb of blood, mucus, stool and urine. But definitely we will go back to the spiritual world. Na tadbhasyate surya na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama param mama. That dham, that param dham, bhaktya mam abhijanat. Only through unalloyed devotional one can achieve that dham. It's clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita. Jivasya hi tattva jigyasa. In Bhagavatam again says, what is this life meant for? Neha indriya priti, na indriya priti. It's never meant for sense gratification, this human life. Na indriya priti. Jivasya hi, jivate labh yatha. What is the jivana labh? Jivasya tattva jigyasa. To understand the tattva, who are we, why have we came, what is the goal of the human life? And that's why, we try to understand the Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya Gyan and Prayojan through these kathas. And what happens when we listen to Krishna Katha? Shunvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana ridantasto hi abhadrani vidhanoti shruhasita. Shunvatam swakatha Krishna. When you try to listen to the pastimes of Lord, Shunvatam swakatha Krishna, the Lord who is sitting inside, he becomes pleased, very much pleased. And what happened? Shunvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana. This is the highest type of punya that anybody can do, by listening to the pastimes of the Lord. Ridantasto hi abhadrani vidhanoti shruhasitam. It cleans all the dirt which is there, the anarthas, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsarya, which is there in our heart, in the impressions in the mind. They get clear when we listen. There is no other way by which all the dirt in the heart can be cleaned. And once that, cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam shreya kairavak chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam parama vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that this Shri Krishna sankirtanam, to do the kirti gan of the Lord, that helps to clean the heart. Cheto darpanam. So that is why when we listen to the pastimes of the Lord, we have to understand the tattva behind it. They are never on the material platform. all the activities what we perform are on the level of material, means rajogun, tamogun and satogun, ignorance, passion and goodness level. But Lord activities are Shuddha Sattva Guna activities, any activities, and they basically come in 5 categories: Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakhya Rasa, then you say Vatsalya Rasa and Madhurya Rasa. Then there are other 7 rasas in which Lord actually interacts with the Jivatma and tries to have the rasa bhava with the devotee. Why does the Lord comes on the earth? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirabhavati bharata abhyudhanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam. The first purpose the Lord appears is for the sadhuna, for the devotees he comes. He doesn't come for the rakshasas, to kill the rakshasa. Killing rakshasa is a side business. So Lord appearing over here and performing the activities behind, basically it is for the devotees. To interact with the devotees in the rasa bhav, and by that interaction make a katha, make a story by which other devotees relish and they get liberated. So to liberate the jivatmas from the clutches of the birth, death, old age, disease, adi daivika, adi bhautik, adhyatmik problem, Lord comes and performs all the leela. So as the sequence is going on, already the childhood pastimes have been discussed. Ram, you have told that already childhood pastimes have been discussed. And now youth pastimes have to be discussed. So I was told to take some youth pastimes, of very beautiful youth pastimes, like, the Govardhan Leela and the Rasa Pancha Adhyay and, the killing of the Kansa. But whatever the time permits, we will try to, understand what is the, we will try to understand through the eyes of the devotees and the gopis and try to understand the pastimes. Whichever pastime we take, we should try to relish it. We should try to understand and we should try to go deep into that story and feel that you are there and try to, be a part of that scene, how the things are going on. Like, that Govardhan Leela. Lord is lifting up the Govardhan hill. He's not lifting up from the, the center, like, sometimes the people balance from the center. Lord lifted up from the, the last part, from the corner, the 21 kilometer hill, 7 कोस का 7 दिन का पर्वत, 7 वर्ष के बालक हमारे कृष्ण कन्हैया. So he lifted it from the, not from the side, but from the, the corner, from the back corner near the Puchri. There is Jatipura, the area comes Jatipura. Yeah, where the Mukharvind is there. There he lifted, the Govardhan hill. And it is said during the Govardhan hill Leela, what was going on? 2 types of storms were going on in the Govardhan Leela. Well, 2 storms? Yes, 2 storms were going on. One storm was outside, other was inside. Which storm? Well, there also lightning, thunder, and the showers were going on. So similarly, inside the mountain also, lightning was going on. What lightning? The lightning which was coming from the Pitambar of the Lord. The yellow dhoti that was shining so brightly. And it was so, and the beauty of the Lord was so bright that everybody was dazzled by the lightning of it was coming from the Lord. That was the lightning that coming. And then what type of storm was going on? The flute that the Lord was playing and the sound and the vibration and the music that was coming was, that storm. Everybody was immersed in it. Everybody was drowned in the sound. and everybody who have lost 7 days, 7 nights. Nobody is hungry, nobody is thirsty, nobody is, just they are seeing the beautiful face and the flute that the Lord is playing. So what are the rahasya behind this Govardhan Leela? Govardhan is non-different from the Lord. He is the Haridasa Varya. He is the greatest of the devotees. One of the greatest devotees, Govardhan Maharaj. Govardhan Giri Govardhan Maharaj ki jai. It is that place where every day Lord used to come and do the grazing of the cows. Every day. And how a devotee should serve the Lord, that we learn from Govardhan Maharaj. Govardhan Maharaj used to give his entire, tan, man, dhan, everything for the service of the Lord. Whatever he had, he used it for the services of the Lord and Lord devotees. He had grass, he had water, he had everything. He used everything for cows, for the Lord. Lord used to play, he used to, that Govardhan used to become a playground for the Lord and for the cows. And, there were, caves where Lord used to take shelter. And when Lord used to be on the Govardhan, and when he used to play the sweet flute, the stones used to melt down. That was the beauty of Lord. Stone used to melt. And the most important part of the Lord's, the flute playing, if we really want to understand the flute playing part, let us go to the chapter where Lord, the gopis glorified the Lord's beauty. And what used to happen when the Lord used to be there with the playing the youth. One of the most important part is playing the flute. So let's go to that chapter, and as it is, try to read some verses of the chapter and try to understand through the mouths of the gopis what they used to feel and what they used to experience when, and their bhavas are mentioned. Because unless and until we do not understand the bhava of the gopis, who are the highest devotees, it is said that the love in the material world, which we have, or it can be compared, it's nothing to the love which we find in the divine, means in the Swarga Loka. The level is very high. So the same, and the beauty is also very high. But then it is said the love, if you compare with the Swargaloka love or the people over there, it is like a frog. You are trying to compare a frog with a beauty pageant. एक beauty pageant के रख दो और एक frog को रख दो, तो उसका comparison हो पाएगा? नहीं. So similarly, if you take the Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha Vasi, and you take the Swargaloka, the love, then the love of the Swargaloka is like a frog in front of the Vaikuntha Vasi. And then you take Vaikuntha Vasi love with, you can say, the Dwarika Vasi. Lord Ramchandra, that is Svetudvip, Ramachandra. Look. So the love that we find over there of the devotees is compared to like a frog of Vaikuntha Vasi. Vaikuntha Vasi's love is compared like a frog to the Ram, Loka, what the love and exchange they have over there. And then you compare that love of Lord Ramachandra people in front of the Dwarka Vasi, then it is compared to a frog in front of Dwarka Vasi. Then you compare the love of Dwarka Vasi in Mathura Vasi. Then we compare the Mathura Vasi love with the Vrindavan Vasi. And then we come that Vrindavan Vasi's love is the highest love. And among that love, the love of the gopi is the highest. And among the highest is Radharani. So that is what is the love of the gopis. And without the Lord, without talking about the gopis or the love of the gopis, the pastimes of the Lords are incomplete, because they are not only in the what you say, Madhurya Bhav. Above Madhurya Bhav, then comes, Mahabhav. Many Bhavas are there. Huh? Rag, Anurag, and then Bhava, Mahabhava, and so many levels after prema. So Mahabhava prema, that is Radharani's bhava or the gopis' bhava. So when Lord is playing flute, so what kinds of emotions happen near the Govardhan, near the Yamuna, and how the things change? Let us see through the eyes of the gopis. We'll go to the chapter directly, which is Leela Manohar Prabhu.
Yes,
Can you bring that chapter?
Yes. We'll go to the sloka one first, Prabhuji.
Chapter number?
Chapter number 21.
21,
Yes.
Canto 10.
Yes.
So, we will start from text number 1 only. Let's start from this text number 1.
Okay.
Everybody, please now understand that you are in the Vrindavan and with the Lord, and try to be a part of this conversation which the gopis are saying to each other, and try to be and try to immerse into it. And beautiful shlokas are there, and we'll just read and try to understand, and then we'll come back. Yes, please.
Prabhuji, Palika Mataji can read the slokas and Renuka Mataji can read the text.
Yes.
Means, translation.
Yes, please.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Itham Sharat Swachha Jalam Padmakara Sugandhina Nyavishadvayuna Vatam Sago Gopalako Achyutaha.
So here it is said, thus the Vrindavan forest is filled with transparent, water and cooled and by breeze, perfumed with the lotus flowers and growing in clear lakes. The infallible Lord, accompanied by the cows and cowherd boys, enters into the Vrindavan forest. Here it is said that he enters into the Vrindavan forest. Okay? Next shloka, Mataji. Wherever I'll tell Renuka Mata, she can translate. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because we have a limitation of time.
Yes.
Usumita Vanaraji Sushmi Bhrunga Dvijakula Ghushta Saraha Sarin Mahindram Madhupatir Vagaya Charayan Gaha Saha Pashupala Balaschu Kujavenum.
The lakes, the rivers, the hill of the Vrindavan resounded with the sound of the maddened bees and the flocks of the bird moving about the flowing trees. In the company of the cowherd boys, Balaram, Shri Krishna, which is called as Madhupati, enters the forest while herding the cows. He begins to vibrate the flute, the beautiful flute. And that is what the flute, when Govardhan Leela is going on, the Lord is playing the flute. So what happens when the flute is played, And the main reason the Govardhan Leela happened, because during the daytime, the gopis used to complain. And during the night time, the cowherd boys used to complain. They used to say, when this night will end? So in the morning, we can get up early and we can be with. They used to get up at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night, and they used to run towards the Lord. Hey, Krishna, please get up. And Yashoda Mata said, hey, why you are waiting? And then he just got up. Please wake up the Lord. We have to go to the forest. And here, every day, throughout the day, the gopis used to be in the, waiting. It is said that 1 second used to go like 1 yuga in the separation. And every time, in the Gopi Geets, they are always talking. What is Krishna doing? How he's walking? He may be walking and that grasses may be there and they may have, the cows eat the grass and the thorns may be there, and it may be hurting them. And when they think about it, it hurts their heart. Their mind and the heart is 24 hours just thinking what Krishna is doing. They do not have anything for themselves, and they wait for the evening. And when the Lord used to come in the evening, and the Lord, the face is covered with the dust, and the face, the ghungralu bal, and the side glance he gives, and just little, and by that time the eye blinks of the gopis. So they then complain to the Brahmaji, "Oh Brahma, why you have made this eyes blink? Why you have made this, eyelids? You are foolish. Entire day when we are not there, Lord is not there, our eyes are open. But when he is coming, eyes, you have 8 eyes. You have given 1,000 eyes to Indra. What is the use? You should not give this blink, because this is the hindrance in seeing the blinking of the eyes. They cannot tolerate the blinking of the eyes in the darshan of the Lord. That is the intensity, that is the love the gopis have. So day and night they used to complain. So these 7 days, all the gopis, all the cowherds were together, and throughout the day and night, they all were happy. So that was one of the reasons behind the Lord to perform the Govardhan Leela, so that he can unite everybody and take the darshan and can satisfy everybody. There are many tattvas that we have to understand behind the Govardhan Leela. The Manabhanga Leela of Indra, that how pride comes and how the pride overcomes, and you are blinded by the pride. And the Lord is very against the pride. So how the pride of the Indras were broken to this Leela, that is one of the things that we learn. And how Govardhan Maharaj, who is one of the best devotees of the Lord, was tolerating all the thunder, all the lightning, and he was giving, the shelter to all the devotees. So I always say, our Guru Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, is like a Govardhan Maharaj. He takes all the problem, what is coming in ISKCON, but the devotees like us, we are under the shelter. We do not know what is going on actually. So a lot of tattvas are there. But when the Lord is playing the flute, which is one of the most beautiful pastimes, let us try to understand. He starts vibrating the flute, and then what the gopis speak. Next verse, Mataji, 3rd verse.
Tadvraja striya ashrutya venugeetam smarodayam kaschit paroksham krishnasya swasakhibhyo anvavarnayan.
Please read the translation, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, just the screen sharing. When the young ladies in the cowherd village of Raja heard the song of Krishna's flute, which arouses the influence of Cupid, some of them privately began describing Krishna's qualities to their intimate friends.
So now when they started hearing the sound flute, they started discussing among themselves. And what they are describing in the 5th verse in this chapter, the beautiful form of Krishna, the famous verse of Bhagavatam, the famous, the very beautiful shloka which describes the beauty of the Lord, the 5th verse. Mataji, please read the 5th verse. Very beautiful verse.
We'll go to 5th, Prabhuji, straight away.
Yes.
Barhapidam natavara कर्णयो कर्णिकारं बिभ्रद्वासः कनककपीशं वैजयन्तीं च मालां रन्ध्रान् वेणोरधरसुधया पुरयन् गोपवृन्देर्वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद् गीतकीर्तिः.
Baharapidam Natavara Vapu. The peak of Bahara means what? Peak of feather. Why this peacock feather is very, very dear to Krishna? Why he keeps at the head, Why he keeps it almost at the head? Because peacock is one person, one living, being, which doesn't have sex relationship with the female one. They produce through eyes. They never interact. Is Akhanda Brahmachari. So such people who can keep, the Akhanda Brahmachari Vrata, Lord will keep them on their head. Bahara Pidam. Natavara Vapu. Vaharani Pidam. Natavara Vapu. The best of the dancers. Lord's dance, Lord Krishna is never straight. He's Tribhanga. Bend from three sides. Natavara Vapu. The Vapu. Karani Karam. And on the ears, particularly, it says a blue kind of lotus flower. Bahara, wearing garment, Kanaka, the body, Kanaka Kapisam. So the body is golden, the Pitambar is golden, like Kapisam, Vayajanti Mala. And the body is decorated with the Vayajanti Mala, is the mala with 5 types of flowers. Vayajanti Mala. And then Randha, Venu, Adhara Sudhaya. Then this Venu is very, the tattva behind the Venu is also very much we should understand. Why this Venu is very, very dear to Krishna. Because this Venu, actually it is hard from outside, but it is hollow from inside. It has nothing of its own from inside. And to become also Venu, it had to go through a lot of tapasyas. It had to, the holes when were made, it had to be first cut down. And then it had to be, the holes have to be made by the iron rod. So, iron rods were put inside his body. Then also he was very happy. And another thing, that he doesn't have anything inside. Whatever he has is having only the sound which Lord is putting, and he is just emanating as it is. So when we become an instrument in the hand of the Lord to speak as it is, then we are becoming very dear to Krishna. Another thing, you should be hard from outside, but very soft from inside. Like the coconut water, it's hard, but the water is so sweet. Similarly, this bamboo, it only drinks water. But how? Inside it is hollow. It doesn't have anything of its own. All that he has is the sound of the Lord. He doesn't have anything to speak of for his own. And that is what the Acharyas and the Parampara, they do not have anything to speak about their own. They only speak about the message that is coming from the Guru Parampara. Then you become type to act like a Venu. So those, Lord clearly says in the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, who spread this message of Bhagavad Gita among my devotees are very, very dear to me. So similarly, this Venu is used by the Lord to give the message. And the Venu, wherever it wants to go and give the message, that person only will be able to listen. When the Lord wanted to call for the Rasa dance, only the gopis were able to listen. Only the gopis. Nobody else was listening. Because that is the Vaishishta of the Venu. When in the evening, Lord used to be standing at the Vanshivat and play the flute. And when, there are hundreds of, thousands and thousands of cows. And every cow has a name. Lakhs and lakhs of 9 lakhs cows only of Lord Krishna. What to speak about other cows? And Lord used to personally call each and every cow by his name and call him back. So when the Lord used to play the flute at the Vanshivat and he used to play the sound, so every cow divinely used to listen, yes, Lord Krishna is calling me. My name. So they start running with the tail up, with the leg up, and they used to run towards the Lord. Every evening. So that is the beauty of this Venu. So Venu, and we should understand, when the Brahma Aday Kavaya, the first shloka of Bhagavatam, Brahma Aday Kavaya, Hridaya, the message was given to Brahma. So how this message was transported? It was transported to the flute of the Lord. So Venu uses to transport the message, transport the sound, transport the katha. So those who are acting to transport the message, transport the sound, transport the kirtan, they are like Venu. And they are very dear to Krishna. And Venu is that thing that Krishna, at the time of sleep also, he never leaves it. And that's why gopis have little irsha. How come this, this has the so much audacity to, be always sticking to Krishna and Krishna's lip and drinking? And that is what we will see to it. So Venu Adhara Sudhaya, Adhara Sudhaya, then Apuryamanam, Gopi Vrinda, Vrindaranya, Swapada, Ramanam, Pravisha, Gita, Kirati. So he enters singing the glories and Swapad by making the footprints. And Vrindavan is so great. Lord is in the entire Vrindavan 84 course, Lord never wear any paduka, any slippers. Because he says, this is my house. In the house, people do not wear slippers. In other places, they wear slippers. So wherever the Lord used to walk, there used to be imprint of Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Dhaja, all that marks used to be there on the sand. And Vrindavan, the land of Vrindavan used to very nicely hold that things. And this we come to know when the, Kalya Leela happened. And Kalya, Lord was taking rest in the Kalya, and everybody from Nandagaon was running towards the Vrindavan, and they were seeing the footprints of the Lord. Where is Krishna? Where is? So they were seeing that footprints and they were running. So here the word that is used, Swapada Ramana. Swapada Ramana. So it is that only place where Lord doesn't wear any footwears, and he gives the touch, that footprints which are dhyan. They, for the crores of years, if the yogis take the meditation, that footprints doesn't come. And, the yogis and the devotees always hold that foot, the charana, lotus, kamala in their heart. That same foot Lord used to put in the Vrindavan. There is not a single place in entire 84 course where Lord has not kept his footprints. That is the only place, Vrindavan. So, okay, very beautiful verse. Bahara Pidam, Vatvar Napu, Karaniko, Karanakarakam, Vipatravasa, Kanaka Kapisha, Vaijanti Mala, Randha, Venu, Adhara Sudaya, Puyam, Gopa Vrinde, Vrindavarana, Swapadama, Pravisha, Gita Kirtin. Now, 6th verse, Mataji.
इति वेणुरवं राजन् सर्वभूत मनोहरं श्रुत्वा व्रजस्त्रियः सर्वा वर्णयन्त्यो अभिरेभिरे.
Read the translation.
O king, when the young ladies in Vraja heard the sound of Krishna's flute, which captivates the minds of all living beings, they all embraced one another and began describing it.
Yes, as soon as, the sound comes, they started embracing each other, thinking that this is Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, and they embrace each other. So that is immediately the love flows when you start listening to. And then imagine 7 days, 7 nights inside Govardhan, what may be happening. That is the storm going on. Everybody embracing, everybody stunned. Please read the 7th verse.
Shri Gopya Uchuhu Akshanvatam Phalamidam na param vidamaha Sakhyah Pashunanu Viveshayatorvayasya he Vaktram Vrajesha Sutayoranavenu Jushtam Yervanipitam Katakshamoksham.
Akshanavata phalam midam te param vidama means akshanam, Those who have eyes, what is the phala? Gopis are saying, those who have eyes, what is the phala? Idam param vidanam. The phala is that, oh friend, those eyes that can see the beautiful face of the Nanda of Maharaj are certainly fortunate, as this two son enters the forest, surrounded by their friends, driving the cows before them, and hold their flute in their mouth and glance lovingly upon the residents of Vrindavan. For those who have eyes, we think there is no greater object of worship. So, akshanavat phalam na paravidanam. There is nothing greatest. Those who have eyes, the only object, only phal is to see Krishna, see Balram, see the Gopavrinda, and see the cowherds entering in the Vrindavan, and he's, blowing the flute. That is the phala of a people having the eyes. That is what the greatest devotees, gopis are saying. Akshana vata phalam idam na param vidanam. Okay, please read further.
Chutapravala barhastabakotpalabja malanuprukta paridhana vichitra vesho madhye virejaturalam pashupala goshthyam range yatha natavaro kvacha gayamano.
What happens in Vrindavan? Katha ganam natyam gamanam api vanchi priya sakhe. Every time singing is going on, every time dancing is going on, every time some festival is going on, and that is what they are describing. Dressed in the charming varieties of garment, in the upon there the garland dressed and decorating themselves with peacock feathers, lilies, newly grown mango sprouts, and clusters of flowers bird. Krishna and Balram shine. There are always decoration going on. Always, dressing is going on. Somebody is bringing, somebody is giving the flower, somebody is, making the garland, somebody is something bringing, and somebody is decorating the Lord Krishna. That every time is going on in the Vrindavan. From bringing that, dressed in the charming varieties of garment. Upon them rest the garlands. Garlands they change every time. Decorating themselves with peacock feathers, very nice peacock feathers. Lotuses are given, lilies are given, mango sprouts are given, flowers, birds are given. Krishna Balram shines forth amongst the assembly of cowherds. They look like the best of the dancers appearing on the dramatic stage, and they start singing. Please read the 9th verse.
Gopyah kimacharadayam kushalam svavenur damodaradhara sudhamapi gopikanam bhungte swayam yadavashishtara samridinyo rishyatvacho ashrumumuchustaravo yatharya.
So now they are now thinking about the flute. Are kya, Gopiya kim acharati ayam tam sama venu dhara adhara sudha kim acharati. What austerities this Venu has performed? Kim acharata ayam labham sama Venu damodara adhara sudha. कि ये हमेशा दामोदर के अधर सुधा में लगी रहती है. क्या तपस्या किया है. My dear gopis, what auspicious activities must the flute have performed to enjoy the nectar of Krishna's lip independently and leave only a taste for us. हमारे तो कुछ भी नहीं रखा. The gopis always, even though they are the greatest one, they always think that they are most unfortunate. And that is one of the lakshana of the great devotees. They always think down, humble and low. For whom the nectar is actually meant. This nectar which is flowing from the mouth is, is actually for us. But it is going in the flute. She's stealing. And that's why they have little irsha, spiritual irsha. You can say that always, what is the thing that is required in the spiritual life to attain Krishna? It is said only the lobha. You should have lobha. never be satisfied in the spiritual activities. But in what is happening, we are not satisfied in the material life and we are very much content in the spiritual life. Actually, we should be content with what we have in the material life, and we should be having more and more lobh, more and more for listening, more and more for hearing, more and more for seva bhava. That lobh should be there. I'm doing nothing, I'm doing nothing. So that is what they are saying, this sound is meant for us. But it is going to them. How unfortunate we are. Huh? And then the forefathers of the flute, the bamboo trees, shed tears in pleasures. His mothers, the rivers on whom the bank and the bamboos were born, feel jubilant. And therefore, here blooming lotus flowers are standing like hairs on their body. So everything, whenever they see anything, they connect with Krishna. That is the beauty of the gopis. That is the lakshana of a pure devotee. Whatever they see, they immediately think only about Krishna. Like, one time, Tukaram was coming at the night from the bhajana and a ghost came on the way. So when he was seeing the ghost, he was saying, "Oh ghost, how beautiful you are." And he's saying, "Lord, I had seen you, in a kundala, kanaka, everything. Now today I am seeing, in the ghost also is seeing Krishna." And he's starting glorifying the beauty of Krishna and seeing the ghost. So that is the level of the devotion the high people have. So here, the gopis are comparing about the flute which is there in the hand, what their forefathers, the forefathers of the flute shed tears of pleasures. So it is said, when one become a devotees in any king, in any family, actually 21 generations are liberated. That is what Narsingadev Bhagwan says to Prahlad Maharaj. When people die, they do 13 days Shraddh and they try to, do stop and to read the Garud Purana and all these things. But actually what has to be done? Has to be done something for the benefit of that soul that is left. How you can do the benefit of that soul? All the forefathers, all the people, how you can give benefit? When you chant, when you become a devotee of Lord, when you go in Gaya, what do? You worship the lotus feet of the Lord over there and do the Shraddha over there. So here the forefathers are very happy to see that how the Venu, who is the son, is serving in the seva of Lord. But the forefathers are very unhappy when they see their children, wasting this human life, which is meant for going back to the spiritual world, wasting the human life, only eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Wasting, in sense gratification. And that is what Lord says. Moga karmano, moga asha, moga karmano in Bhagavad Gita. Those who live their life for indriya priti, for sense gratification, it's a waste of life. Clear-cut instructions are given in Bhagavad Gita. Indriya aramo, mogam partha sa jivati. It's a waste of a life. Janma, Janma labha param punsam ante narayana smriti bhagavata. Even if you are very nicely situated in your duties, but at the end, if you are not able to remember the Lord, your life is a waste. Because again you have to go into the cycle of birth, death, old age, disease. So here the forefathers, the gopis are thinking how these forefathers are so happy. And the river mother and the bamboos are feeling so jubilant. And the blossoming flowers are standing like hair on the body. Okay, please read further. We have 5-10 minutes more.
Vrindavanam sakhi bhuvo vitanoti kirtim yaddevaki sutapadambujalapta lakshmi govinda venu manumatta mayura nrutyam prekshadrisanva avaratanya samasta sat.
So what happens when the Lord is, first of all, it is said, okay, the Vrindavana Sakhi Bhuvana Vinato Kirtim. The glories of the Vrindavan is increasing so much because the lotus feet, the Vrindavan is spreading the glories of the earth, having obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna. The peacocks dance madly. And they hear the Govind flute. They start, like, the rain cloud is coming and they start madly, showering and dancing, the peacocks. And what happens to all the creatures on the Vrindavan, Govardhan, when all the trees, all the birds are standing, they stop their cuckoo and they become stunned. They're like a statue. They are on the hill. Read further, Mataji, 11th verse.
धन्यः स्मामुढगतयो अपि हरिण्येता यानन्दनन्दनमुपात्त विचित्रवेषम् आकर्ण्य वेणुरणितं सह कृष्णसारः पूजां दधुर्विरचितां प्रणयावलोके.
Blessed are all these foolish deers, because they have approached Maharaj Nand, who is gorgeously dressed and playing on the flute. Here the gopis are saying, these deers are so fortunate that they can be near to the Lord and they can see the Lord with their eyes open and see the dressing. We are unfortunate. We cannot be so close and we cannot seek darshan. So that is the bhava of the gopis. And then playing his flute. Indeed, both the dove and the bucks worship the Lords, looking with the love and affection. And they both, both Haran and Harini, they are looking, and they with their husband, they can serve. So they are saying, we are unfortunate, we cannot come with the husband and serve. But, the deers and that, the both husband and wife are so fortunate that they can worship the Lord. So every time they are connecting the things with Krishna. And that is the, the root of the pure bhakti. Please go 12th verse.
कृष्णं निरीक्ष्य वनितोत्सवरूपशीलं श्रुत्वा च तत्क्वणितवेणुविविक्तगीतं देव्यो विमानगतयः स्मरन्नसारा भ्रश्यत् प्रसूनकबरा मुमुहुर्विनिव्यः.
So when Lord is at Govardhan and playing the flute, what happens? Krishna's beauty and character creates a festival for all the women. Indeed, when the demigod wives were flowing up, from the sky in the aeroplane, and husband catch their sights of him, and hear his resounding front flute. All this women's Devakanya, they get fell down. Just listening to the sound of the flute, and they become bewildered. Their flowers fall down, and hair and belt become loosened. All the Devi Kanyas who are on the sky, they lose their consciousness just by listening to the flute of Krishna. So you can imagine what is going inside when the Lord is lifting up the Govardhan head. Please read further.
गावश्च कृष्णमुखा निर्गतवेणुगीता पीयूषमुत्तभितकर्णपुटेः पिबन्त्यः शावः स्नुतस्तनपयः कवलः स्मतस्फूर् गोविन्दमात्मनीदृशा श्रुकलः स्पृशन्त्यः.
So here the position of all the cows are set, the calves are set in the shloka. Gavascha Krishna Mukha, Krishna Nirgita, Venu, Gita, Piyusham, Udbhita, Karana. What happens? Using the upraised ears, the ears of the cows are raised, and the cows are drinking the nectar of the fruit flowing from the mouth of Krishna. They listen very attentively. And what happens? The calf, their mouths are filled with the milk from their mother, moist nipple, stand still. What happens? The milk is coming in the mouth, but they cannot take it inside. They are so stunned. And the milk is flowing down from the calf. Their mouth is, and here the cows are stunned, the calf is stunned, and the milk is flowing and from the nipple. And going with themselves, their tears of the eyes embrace, tears filled with eyes embraced within their heart. And tears are flowing from the eyes of the cows, listening to the sweet sound. And, in South India, there is one temple. Very big, famous temple there is there. And there is very nice photo. What is happening? When Lord is playing the flute at Govardhan, the tiger is coming and drinking the milk of the cow. And, calf is stunned, and calf and everything. So somebody said, how is this? This is a wrong photo. How can the tiger come and drink the milk? He should be eating it. He says, no. When Krishna is taking all the living entities forget their dharma, what they have to do and what not they have to do. They lose their consciousness. And that is what happened in Krishna Katha also. When you immerse yourself in Krishna Katha, you lose your outward contact, outward world, and you are inside it. So that is what is happening. The cows are standing their eyes, ears, they are listening, the flute is going inside, the calves are drinking the milk, and the milk is flowing. And the eyes filled with tears are coming from it. Please read the 14th verse.
प्रायो बताम्ब विहगा मुनयो वने अस्मिन् कृष्णे क्षितं तदुदितं कलवेणुगीतम् आरुह्य ये द्रुमभुजान् रुचिरा प्रवालान् शृण्वन्ति मिलितदृशो विगतान्यवाचः.
So here what happens to the birds? Cuckoo birds, other birds who can sing nicely. So what happens to them? In the forest, all birds have risen in the beautiful branches. They sit on the branches near the Krishna and see Krishna with their eyes. With the closed eyes, they are simply listening to the silence, in the silence, the sweet vibration of the sound. And that is not attractive by other sound. They are not attracted by other sound. Surely these birds are on the same level of the great sages. So those who have performed great tapasya in the past life, they are given a role of a sage, birds, so they can do a bird role over there. Please read further.
नद्यस्तदा तदुपधार्य मुकुन्दगीतम् आवर्तलक्षितमनोभवभग्नवेगः आलिङ्गनस्थगितामुमिर्भुजैर्मुरारेर्गृह्णन्ति पादयुगलं कमलोपहारः.
So here what happens to the river? Yamuna river. It's mentioned over here. When the rivers hear the flute sound of Krishna, their mind begins to desire him, and thus the flow of the current is broken and the waters get agitated and moving around in the whirlpool. Then with the arms in the waves and the river embraces, the Murari lotus feet holding them, they become stunned. The flow becomes stunned. All the whirlpool happen. So they, the flowing becomes stunned, and the trees started shaking. So all different characters are manifested when the Lord starts playing the flute. Please read further.
दृष्ट्वातपे व्रज पशुन् सह राम गोपे सञ्चारयन्तनम् अनुवेणुमुदीरयन्तम् प्रेम प्रवृद्ध उदितः कुसुमावलीभिः सख्युर्व्यधात स्ववपुषाम्बुदातपत्रम्.
Arthapatram, like an umbrella. Ambuda means cloud. They become like an umbrella for the Lord. Sakhya, what happens? In the company of Balram and the cowherds, Lord Krishna continuously vibrates the sound in all the herds of the animals in the Braja, even under the full heat of the summer sun. Seeing this, the cloud in the sky expand himself out of love. And he is rising high and constructing out his own body with the multitude of flowers like droplets of water, an umbrella for the sake of his friends. So the clouds expands because they think the clouds were very happy because the color of the cloud, they say, see, it's my color. Shama Sundara, Ghanashama. So they think, why we will be expanding ourselves to give some seva to the Lord, and to protect them. Please read the 17th one.
पूर्णः पुलिन्द्या उरुगाय पदाब्जराग श्रीकुङ्कुमेन दयितास्तनमण्डितेन तद्दर्शनं स्मररुजस्तृणऋषितेन लिम्पन्त्याननकुचेषु जहुस्तदाधिम्.
So when Lord walks on the grasses, what happens? The kumkum which is there at the feet of the lotus, they are fallen. And when the gopis come and see that kumkum, they embrace keep to their breast and they love, and they get agitated and remember, how the Lord's kumkum by, decorating on their body. 18th one, Mataji.
हन्तायम् अदिर् अबला हरिदासवर्यो यद्रामकृष्ण चरणस्पर्श प्रमोदः मानं तनोति सह गोगणयोस्तयोर्यत् पानीयसूयवसकन्दरकन्दमूले.
So here in this shloka, in the previous shloka, if somebody has an anxiety, he should take the dust of the Lord and embrace on the body. It said in the devotion 3 Mahabala there. Bhakta Charanadul, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh, and Bhakta Abhisheka. These 3 are Mahabala. They act like a, this vaccine, big vaccine against Maya. And in this shloka, the 18th shloka, this describe about the glories. The gopis are describing the glories of the Govardhan, where the Govardhan is lifted. He is Haridasavarya. Hanta Adri Abala Haridasavarya. Govardhan is Haridas, is the topmost. There are 3 Haridas: Uddhava, Yudhishthir, and Govardhan. And Yada Ramakrishna Charana Sparsha Pramoda. Every time they get the sparsha, the Govardhan gets the sparsha of the Ramakrishna. And by that, every time there is, Kampa, Ashru, Taranga, Govardhan is every time melting because of the touch of the Lord's. Ramakrishna Charana Sparsha Pramoda. Every time he is so happy by the touch of the Lord. Then Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganya Staryo. But he always gives the mana. He always, all the devotees, this Govardhan is best. Oh my friend, the hill supplies Krishna along with their calves, cows, all kind of necessity, water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruit, flowers, vegetable. In this way, the hill offers respect to the Lord. Respect only not to the Lord, but all the devotees. Being touched by the lotus feet appears Julian. So here, the quality of a devotee is, he always is giving respect to the devotees and to the Lord, and he's serving to his full capacity. That is the, then one can become a Haridasa Varya. That is what the tattva we should try to understand from all this in the flute pastime or the Govardhan hill lifting pastime. The 19th verse.
गागोपकैरनुवनं नयतोरुदार वेणुस्वने कलपदैस्तनुभृत्सु सख्यः अस्पन्दनं गतिमतां पुलकास्तरूणां निर्योगपाशकृतलक्षणयोर्विचित्रम्.
So here it is said, my dear friend, as Krishna and Balaram pass through the forest with their cowherd friends leading to the cows, they carry a rope to bind the cows' rear legs at the time of milking. But what happens when Krishna plays flute? You know what happens? When the Lord plays the flute, the sweet music causes the non-moving entities to become stunned, and the this moving entity to become stunned, and non-moving trees to tremble in ecstasy. It is a apasadam gatim mata pulaka tarunam nireyoga pasha krita lakshayote virichatam. This is very wonderful. And this is the last shloka, and we will end the things over here.
एवं विधा भगवतो या वृन्दावनचारिणः वर्णयन्त्यो मिथो गोप्यः क्रीडास्तन्मयतां ययुः.
Thus narrating one another playful pastime of Supreme Lord, as he wanders in the forest of the gopis, become fully absorbed in the thought of himself. So how in the short pastimes, when Lord is playing the flute and lifting the Govardhan hill, so what is going on and how the things change, how the devotees see everybody to be Krishna conscious, everybody to be immersed in the Lord. So something we should take from the tattva, from these stories, from the bhava, that how a devotee sees everything connected with Krishna. He connects everything with Krishna. And always thinks him to be humble and low. Humble and low. Amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi saishuna. Amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. That we see this from, all the pastimes of gopis. The Lord's pastimes are ananta. We should try to embrace, go inside it, dive more and more inside it, and try to understand the tattva behind, and try to understand the bhava behind. And at least 1% we should try to take that bhava in our life. And it will come. Definitely it will come. If you do your chanting properly, if you do your sadhana properly, if you get, whatever Srila Prabhupada has told us, do Mangala Arati, chant your round sincerely, offer the food to the Lord, follow the 4 regulative principles properly, at least the sadhana bhakti. Then comes, from the sadhana bhakti comes the bhava bhakti. Then from bhava bhakti comes the prema bhakti. And then from prema bhakti comes the mahabhava bhakti. We are still on the sadhana bhakti level. So at least do that first part properly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anybody has any questions? They can please put